I'm going to be showing you guys how I make this butter pecan French toast. And this French toast was so good. It tasted like a cinnamon roll. So to start how I make it and how we're going to butter our pecans, we're going to take some Land O'Lakes unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon, and we're going to put that in our pan and stir it around until it melts. Then once it gets melted, that's when we're going to take about a half of a cup of pecans. And we're going to put that in our melted butter and we're going to stir it around until it toasts. So for about 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to stir this around. And you don't want to burn your pecans because then it's going to taste really bad and it's not going to be the flavor that we want it to be. So we just toast it till it has like a nutty type smell for like 2 to 3 minutes, and we're going to do this on medium heat. So next I am adding some brown sugar. I did not take an exact measurement. You can really add as much or as little brown sugar as you want with this step, but once I add the brown sugar in, then we're just going to just stir this around a little bit more. Okay, so after I started my brown sugar, I went ahead and added like a splash of vanilla, and you can use imitation or real vanilla, it doesn't matter. Okay, next, I am going to be adding just a little bit of cornstarch. And once I add that, we're going to stir that in because we need the cornstarch to thicken up our syrup. And I'm going to go ahead and go back in and add just a little bit more cornstarch, but just a little bit because you don't want too much. Okay, so once I'm done stirring in my cornstarch, I'm going to stir this for about 1 more minute. And our syrup should start to look like this and be this consistency. Once we get this consistency, we're going to set our syrup to the side. Oh, and at this part, I did go ahead and add a little bit more brown sugar, but I wanted to thicken mine up a little bit more. And this is how it should look. So now we're going to go ahead and set it to the side, and we're going to start working on the batter for our French toast. I'm going to take 4 eggs. Then once I add my 4 eggs, I'm going to add cinnamon sugar, then some extra cinnamon. Then I will be adding some imitation vanilla. Once I add all of that, we're going to go ahead and whisk this together. And I did not measure for the seasonings or the vanilla. Next, I'm going to add about 2 splashes of heavy cream, just a little bit. I'm just using what I had left over in my heavy cream carton. So yeah, just about 2 splashes. Next, we're going to go ahead and whisk that together. Now, for my French toast, I normally use brioche bread, but I ran out. So I'm using Texas toast, but you can use whatever kind of bread that you have. So you're just going to dip your bread lightly in the batter. So once you have your bread on your griddle or your skillet, you're going to go ahead and sprinkle some more cinnamon sugar on top. Then we're going to flip those over, and this is how mine is looking. Next, we're going to get our syrup and we're going to put it back on the burner, but we're not going to turn it back on. What we want to do is we want to drizzle this hot syrup on top of that French toast. So now you see it warming up and it's loosening back up, and then it just starts to bubble, and this is exactly how we want it to look, and we're going to take it back off. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pour that syrup on top of my French toast. And y'all, this French toast, it smells so good and it tasted so good. I couldn't even finish the video without taking a bite. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and thank you so much for watching. You could even make this recipe if you're doing a brunch or any reason that you want to make this. But I really recommend you make this because it was so good.